Understand something. Plain and simple. To me, Abigail was a delicious poison. An intoxicating, overwhelming poison. Yowie wowie! That felt good! Yowie wowie. Let me in.
Oh, that music can only mean one thing. It means that we're back for another Monday and another episode of Abby's Window. And although we haven't seen Alexa or the Fiend, that doesn't mean that we don't have some stuff to talk about. And yes, my Alexa device is talking to me right now, as it does every Monday. So, hey, it's all good. Let me shout out some people real quick, and then we're going to get going because Jodie, our Abby, your Abby, sent me something a little while ago, and my brain is about to explode, so we'll have to go into that. So let's shout out some folks real quick before we get started. C Wrestling, Annette Morris, Liam, Drift Lewis, Sean Suslowitz, Robert Morris, James Chadwick, Butterspark, Shane Lowkey, Big Dan, Kevin Correa, Sonny Wolf, Bertrice, Seven Fiend, Big Boy Dally, Let Him In, and B Tazzy, John Cena Gamer. We got some folks in the house. So, Jodie, you shared something with me a little while ago, and I'm kind of interested to see if you'd be willing to share that, and let's kind of have a live freak out moment, a live OMG moment as it relates to this new story. Jennifer Carter and Eric Travis, hello to you. Thank you for joining. So, Jodie, the floor is yours.
So one of the admins in our Firefly Funhouse Facebook group posted this a little while ago, and he said his brother was watching TV. Actually, it was his brother, his wife, and his sister-in-law. They were watching TV earlier today, and apparently there was a promo for Raw, and it showed Alexa saying he's back, and then showed the Fiend. I have not been able to cooperate this with anybody else other than, it was them, his brother and sister-in-law and all that saw it. So I haven't been able to find it anywhere. So if anybody else has seen it, please send me the link because I haven't been able to see it anywhere. But if that is legit, which he says it is, DM him and say, "Are you pulling my leg? Because if you are, I'm gonna smack you." And he said, "No, dead serious. They thought that I had already saw it, but I didn't." And I'm like, man, I need to figure out where to find this video because surely somebody else must have seen it out there.
Yeah, I mean, someone had to. Here's what we'll say to you folks. If you've seen this, share a link with us because my goodness, we want to react to that live while we're on because that's huge news. And if that's the case, then we could be seeing a return very soon. And
doesn't necessarily mean it's tonight.
Right.
She could just come out and say he's back, but you're not going to see him yet.
Yeah, like that. That could be. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Like I was gonna probably go back to sleep after since apparently that's all I've been doing all day. But now I have to stay up and watch Raw because I've got to see if this is real. Like I have to if this is legit. I have to. And I don't know. This is insane. And there are different stories out there. One, here's what I want to do because we didn't have a chance to do this last week, and I'm trying to put something together for a larger forum. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to do this, and this is completely on the spot. So I'm sorry for doing that. But this is a matter of a serious nature, but I wanted to get your thoughts on the whole thing with Alexa Bliss and the crazy stalker dude that just takes things. I mean, they took things way too far, and I know that you've been speaking about women in wrestling and just in general in terms of sports, but I wanted to get your take on the situation and I guess what you feel WWE or whoever needs to do in terms of handling a situation like that.
Well, I think Twitter is not doing their job adequately. Surprise, surprise. Because they need to IP ban that guy. Like he keeps making fake accounts and numerous accounts, and even Alexa said it herself. Oh, this must be your new account. Like Twitter needs to get off their ass and do their job. They'll ban anybody for saying anything negative about the coronavirus vaccine or anything positive about former President Trump, and they'll ban those people immediately for spreading false information, but this dude can keep going and going and going and going, and nobody does anything. It was just maybe 2 days ago that his account got suspended, not deleted, just suspended, even though, he's engaged in targeted harassment. He's thrown threats out there to kill her fiance. And I mean, dude needs a psychiatric hospital stat. And it's,
Yeah.
I don't want to say that women are the only, like, famous women are the only people that are subject to that, because I'm sure, the guys get it as well. But, he started going after other people as well. He said something about Liv Morgan. He said something to Sonya Deville. He said something to somebody else, and basically said, "You're next." And, people like that just don't deserve to have any kind of social media access whatsoever. And I hope that I'm sure after the whole thing with Sonya Deville happened with her stalker, I mean, this guy posted at one point that he was outside Alexa's house. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't, but, for someone like Alexa Bliss, if I were her, I'd be terrified, because you don't know. I'm sure he's just blowing smoke. He's not actually going to do anything, but you never know. Like, there are really, really, like, sick people out there that will do things like that. I actually had a similar conversation with my 13-year-old about how she uses the internet, and that there are really scary people out there, and you have to be really careful what you say, what you do, what you post, because, you never know who might show up at your front door someday and, do something to you because you pissed them off or offended them, or, it's really, really sad. I would hope after everything that happened with Sonya Deville that WWE is more paying more close attention to particularly their female fans that are dealing with this on a regular basis. I'm sure they are. I'm sure police have been involved, and I have a feeling that's probably why Alexa was not on Raw last week, because of all this. Although I do know she's on vacation at the moment. She's at Disney World, so it could be that she just started her vacation. But yes, I think she posted today that she was at Disney World. So
Okay.
Screw that dude, Alexa. You keep doing you. Enjoy your vacation.
Yes.
Screw
Yes.
the haters. I would be a little bit more colorful, but I won't.
Yeah. I mean, that's what is it shows the toxicity of just people in general nowadays.
Mhm.
I mean, we can't even just say wrestling fans. It just shows the toxicity of people, and the and what social media exposes about people. Um,
Well, I think
you
this
know,
is a good representation too, that all social media platforms have their own agenda, and
yeah,
they're going to target the people that they want to and ignore the people they want to.
yeah. I mean, I
And
would.
non-biased. You can't call any social media platform a non-biased platform, because none of them are.
Right. I mean, every single one of them have their own agendas and biases, and
Mhm.
um, and it's unfortunate because the spirit behind social media was to connect people across the world, and give a space for people to share their views on similar issues and connect with people. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that a lot of times social media becomes a political tool for one side or another. And what's lost in all of that is there really shouldn't be sides. There should be us as the human race that loves one another and tries our best to get along despite our differences. Um, and for whatever reason, people don't want to see that happen. So,
See, now my heart rate's up.
but no, so I wanted to get your thoughts on that since we didn't last week, and so now there's no real graceful way to segue from that to back to wrestling, but that's what we'll try to do. But and Chris is over here. See, here's a good way to segue back. People are talking about food in the chat, and Chris, loves to make these gourmet meals, these delicious meals, and throw it in my
Yum.
face every day. So he said he made chicken pot pie.
Yum.
And the dude lives in the same city I do. You think he ever says, you know what, hey Jeff, listen, man, I'll hook you up with a chicken pot pie. Or hey, I made pineapple upside down cake. Here's a couple slices of it. You think he ever bothers to say any of that to me? No, he doesn't. He's just like, hey Jeff, I had this. It was delicious. Ha ha. Jokes on you. So
maybe he's inspiring you to become a chef.
No, he's not. He's inspiring me to find out where he is and air some grievances.
Oh, Jeff.
I want to air some grievances with Chris about his lack of concern for my stomach.
Lack of sharing. Where are your man?
Where's the love? Where's the love? I mean, goodness gracious. Okay. So enough about that. We he's like, oh, you're on a diet, Jeff, or I would. BS.
Mm-hmm.
You just asked me to join your tag team of eating wings the other night. You're like, man, we should form a tag team and go into competitive eating. You're not concerned about my diet. You just want to rub it in my face. So, dang it, Chris. Robert Morris saying, can't wait to see what goes down on Raw tonight. Hope it is the Fiend. Yes, hope it is. If you weren't here, Jodie mentioned that there potentially is a I feel like a meteorologist right now. There's a 10% chance of Fiend or Alexa Bliss showing in on Raw tonight. So Jodie, I'll have you go back over that again because we have had people that have joined since then, and then we'll talk about what that potentially means and just kind of go from there.
So I heard one of the other admins in my Firefly Funhouse Facebook group said that 3 of his family members saw a commercial for Raw while they were watching TV earlier, and it showed Alexa Bliss saying he's back, and then showed the Fiend. So I don't know. Haven't been able to find this promo anywhere.
I know. Oh my God, we haven't been able to find it. Geez, if you find it, anyone, please let us know. Please let us know because we want to see it. We want to react to it. Chris, I am in that area quite a bit, so we'll have to link up. Kevin says the only thing that has me more worried, Jeff and Jodie, is the possibility of Orton winning the Chamber and then Orton versus Edge 4 gets booked. I mean, it's. I think that would be interesting. Could we see anything involving the Fiend if that happens between those two? Could we see the Fiend or Alexa get involved and cause some type of issue between, kind of setting up something with Edge and Orton and the Fiend? I mean, could we see something like that?
I think that would make the story a little too muddled.
Mm.
So I think it's going to go Fiend versus Randy or Randy versus Edge. I don't really see them getting mushed together.
So you don't see a triple threat,
Mm-mm.
which I don't think we need.
No.
I don't think we need.
I think a lot of it depends on when Bray wants to come back and what kind of story they're going to build to WrestleMania. What's going to happen in Elimination Chamber, because it's 6 days away now. This is the go home show.
Yeah, it is the go
So
home.
if the Fiend is going to show up at Elimination Chamber, this would be a perfect time to tease it.
Yeah. I mean,
even if it's just Alexa coming out and saying he's back, but you don't know when you're going to see him. Even if it's just like that, maybe he's back, but he's not here yet.
I mean, it would be crazy if that happened. So, I mean, do you think? I have to give you credit on this. You said before that, while general consensus at this point is the Fiend will be back for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
There's a possibility that he'd come back for one of these obscure pay-per-views,
or just a Raw.
A Raw. So
Bray is very, very good at keeping us on our toes. At this point, we're expecting him every time Raw is on or there's a pay-per-view. So I don't want to say he's lost the element of surprise, but he's so highly anticipated coming back that we're looking for it every single episode. We're looking for it every single pay-per-view. So when he does come back, we'll be like, oh my God, finally. As opposed to, oh my gosh, it's just, it's going to be a sigh of relief to see him back on television.
Yeah. Let him ask, how much thought do you think WWE puts into fans' opinions and suggestions?
Absolutely zero. I take that back. I think some of them do go out and look at fans, suggestions and theories and whatever, but there's only one person that gets the final say, and I think he cares absolutely zero about what the fans want. He thinks he knows what the fans want, but you can't really trust the fans anyway because they're very fickle.
Yes.
If they would have brought the Fiend back weeks ago or not too long after he got burned alive, people are like, oh, it's too fast. You don't need to come back yet. And, how did he come back from being on fire? And it's just, you can't please the fans because they're going to find something to complain about no matter what. Unfortunately, that's just how wrestling is now.
Mm-hmm.
Very few people can just enjoy what's in front of them and enjoy long-term storytelling, which is what Bray is very good at. So in a way, I blame them for not listening to the fans because they're bipolar and they're going to change their mind the next day. So
I mean, they would have said, oh, they're not selling the burn it alive stuff enough.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. It's like, screw you. I mean, do you you can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say you want Bray back, and then when they bring him back immediately, oh well, they didn't sell that. It took Undertaker this long when they did this with him.
Right.
You know what?
And you can't compare Bray to anybody else. Yes, he shares a lot of qualities with the Undertaker and the kind of character that he is, but Bray Wyatt is Bray Wyatt. Undertaker is Undertaker. You can't compare people. You have to just let them be who they are.
Bill Allen, thank you for joining us. I don't think I've seen you in here before, so thank you for coming around. Sean Rousset, thank you for joining. Matt Misfit says, so this is quite telling. WWE uploads a WWE title triple threat match with Bray defending the title versus AJ and Cena 6 weeks before the Elimination Chamber that features Randy Orton. Thoughts?
I mean, I think they're very intentional with what matches they post. And
Mm-hmm.
the big part of Elimination Chamber with, I mean, Bray and Cena. And I think AJ was in the Elimination Chamber as well, wasn't he, that year? So I think they're going to be playing these big matches that led up to Elimination Chamber. You know, I think they reposted the Elimination Chamber where Bray won the belt. So I don't really know that it's, I don't really think it's telling that it's going to be a triple threat match or anything like that. I think it just, they're trying to post matches to hype up an Elimination Chamber, and that was a really good match. So,
yeah. And plus, I mean, you've also got AJ Styles in this one on Sunday. But I mean, I don't think anything happened by coincidence. You know, I think that maybe it's a little teaser that, you know, maybe he won't be back right now, but he's coming. And
Elimination Chamber's coming.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Okay, so let's play this out real quick. Let's say that people get what they want and he shows back up tonight, or let's say we get Alexa saying, you know, he's back, and we get some type of little glimpse of something. Do you think it's possible at that point that he shows up on Sunday if we get that tonight?
Yes.
Okay, you be
necessarily
pretty.
it may not be that he shows up fully. We may just get another tease. It may not be actually him returning, but if we get some kind of tease tonight, I think the teases will continue until he actually comes back.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's going to be, but we'll all be excited when he is.
That's true. I mean,
you sure missed him.
Yeah. The other way, and Eli is saying this like vignettes. I think it would be really cool if she gives us that, like he's back, and then we see a little vignette, and we start to see vignettes from now leading up to Mania or whenever it is he's going to return. How would you feel about something like that happening?
Totally cool with it. I want him to play it out his way. So whatever it makes sense in his head, it may not make sense to me or anybody else, but it makes sense to him. And big picture, you know, a year from now, we'll understand what it meant.
Yeah.
Just like with the doll in the toy box.
Do you think we start
time? But now we're kind of like, oh, that's what the doll meant. I get it. Clever.
Do you think we start to see puppets again?
Moment. Ooh, I would love that. I've missed all of them. I've been secretly hoping that one of the puppets will show up in Alexa's playground, but it makes sense that they're not because they're in Bray's imaginary land, not hers. But I thought maybe she would get some kind of puppet. Although she does have the rocking horse. And the swing that keeps moving. I don't know.
And that she keeps looking over at and talking to. I mean, what's your theory? What's your theory on that? Who's there?
I think it's Bray. I think it's Funhouse Bray.
You think it's Funhouse Bray? Okay. And not
because
the Fiend.
Of the simple fact that when she did that promo with Asuka, when Asuka was in the ring and she started dancing and she got up and got really mad, and then she looked back at the swing for a minute and she goes, no, you're right. I don't think the Fiend would have, and she went and sat back down. I don't think the Fiend would have talked her down. I think the Fiend would have let her embrace her darkness and snap on her and actually go after her. Somebody talked her down. Although that could have been her dark side as well. It could have been Fiendess Alexa talking her down too. And you could go the way of, you know, she would talk herself down. Her dark side would talk her down because her dark side is very calculated and careful in her movements. She's very patient. She's very meticulous. And I could see her dark side talking her down. Like, it's not time for that yet. Just be patient. Don't ruin it. Like, you know what I mean? So I could see that going either way, but my knee-jerk reaction is that it's Funhouse Bray.
A couple comments here. Rusty saying, think of it this way, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So long as we all miss Bray, it'll be that much better when he's back. Tom Buff, thank you for joining, says, do you think they could do another Undertaker versus Kane at WrestleMania 20 where Fiend returns and completely squashes Randy at Mania? Got to shout out Matt the Misfit because I know he said that before, but Jodie, what say you about that?
I don't see it being a squash match. I could see it being an easy win for this new Fiend character. But I don't see it being a squash match. I think they'll still beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't think you can put those two in a ring and not have them beat the absolute.
Not have fireworks, yeah.
It's gotta have it.
Especially if it's, you know, it's rumored that it's going to be some kind of partial theatrical match. So,
yeah. I mean, it's not to say that it wouldn't be one-sided.
No.
I mean, the Fiend may just absolutely destroy him, but I don't think, you know, in terms of like a 15 or
20-second match.
Like a 20-second, you know, that kind of thing. Let's see here. Eli saying, but Jeff, this is the worry, is Bray getting a new badass name change? Go ahead, Jodie, because I know you.
I think it's possible that his name changes. I think it's unlikely. I think we're more likely to get, I don't know, because you could look at it as Alexa is the Fiend now. She's obviously going through some kind of possession, as what we've seen with the ectoplasm that she showed to everybody a couple weeks ago. So he could come back with a new name. I don't really see that happening. He'll just be a reimagined version of the Fiend, but they may want to change the name for more merch. But I don't know. I could see them leaving it the same and him just looking different.
Looking different.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I know given theories as to, oh, Rusty just threw something back that I like. He says, what if he returns just using the name him?
I'm okay with that. I mean, I wouldn't mind if he had a completely different name. You know, he's come back. Maybe he comes back again as Samael.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I'm glad you said that because I was about to ask you, what if he comes back as Samael?
I'd be okay with that too.
Because that's connecting several dots that.
Well, and it's the only version of his old character we haven't really seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
In Cult Leader Bray, we saw Eater of Worlds Bray in the cardboard cutout in the beginning, but we haven't really seen him in that persona. We've obviously seen the Fiend. You know, we've got Muscle Man you know, his Samael character after he got thrown into the Lake of Reincarnation, we haven't really seen him personify that since that. So it's kind of the only version of his personality we haven't really seen again yet.
Yeah, and wow, I mean, do you think at some point soon, like aside from Samael, do you think it's possible that we get a new crop of personalities? So when he comes back, maybe there's a Fiend 2.0, but maybe there's Samael, maybe there's Wyndham, maybe there's instead of Muscle Man and all that, maybe there's something completely different where he's evolved now, and we see a new crop of characters.
Yeah, I definitely think he is going to come back as an evolved character. But how crazy would that be if, Alexa comes out tonight and says, he's here, like all creepy like they do in the Poltergeist movies. And then you see Bray appear, the Fiend appear somewhere. He looks totally different. I'm still getting Freddy Krueger vibes. And he just looks into the camera and goes, I am Samael, and then disappears.
That would be amazing.
I would just melt. I would just, yeah.
Oh my God, that would be. See, now you have my brain just, the wheels are turning. They're turning.
Alexa did say it'll be like nothing you've ever seen before.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Doesn't mean he can't call himself Samael, but he will look differently than we've ever seen before. Which is why I'm kind of getting Freddy Krueger vibes. There may be pieces of the Fiend left, but it's going to be something new.
This is why this is so fun.
Unless he is the King in Yellow.
Yeah.
That's something we've seen before. Although I think that was Kyle finding an interesting parallel between the two stories and running with it. But I mean, I could definitely see some vibes of that story coming to life as well.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
They just come back as Wyndham. He always said Wyndham is the key.
Wyndham is the key. Exactly. So I mean, I do think that this time around, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that this time around we're going to see some different character, like different personas, potentially. I think we'll start to see, Wyndham a little bit more because, like you said, he's said that Wyndham is the key. When does that start? I feel like, with him being away for a while, this is his evolution. He's been in this cocoon, potentially. What emerges from the cocoon? We want to know about that. So I am so looking forward to what's next for him and for Alexa. Which I want to ask you about that. Like, what do you think is next for her?
I think we're going to see her evolve more as well. You as a horror fan can attest to this too. Usually when you start seeing ectoplasm, it's normally when they're trying to force a demon out. If I'm not mistaken, it's normally when they're trying to exorcise a demon that's when you start seeing ectoplasm. Sometimes you can see it in a fog. I can't remember what that movie was now, where it came out of her mouth like a fog. Anyway, so usually when you see ectoplasm, it's because they're trying to get rid of one. So that maybe could have been Alexa trying to fight it off herself. Maybe she just, at some point, she just gives into it and becomes the Fiend.
Love it. Sean says, what I would like to see is this new mask pops up on the big screen and Randy looks up through it like he's seen a ghost. And the show ends with Bray saying, let me in.
I would like that too. What I also would like, or wouldn't mind happening, is if Alexa comes out as the Fiend.
Ooh.
Because if you're going down this road of she's possessed by the Fiend, which is pretty much what the conclusion everybody's pretty much already come to, that Alexa is the Fiend now, especially if the Fiend is going to be reimagined or he's going to come back as this new character. Where does the Fiend go? Fiend goes to Alexa. But if Alexa comes out dressed as the Fiend in her own way, but with a Fiend mask, with the pants and, the tank top and all that, and she comes out dressed like the Fiend. Because we've seen her say, let me in, like the Fiend does, out of Alexa's mouth. So that leads you to believe that the Fiend is part of Alexa now. And maybe that's the possession thing that we're starting to see. So think how tortured and terrified Randy would be if Alexa came out dressed as the Fiend. He'd be like, the heck?
Yeah.
And we've also seen Alexa in her last promo with bits of the Fiend mask on her face. They were doing like the snippets with the different pieces of Fiend mask on her face. And then her transformation will be complete. And then is the Fiend.
And Seven Fiend just said transformation completed. And listen, Eli is rocking with you all night long. They're feeling what you're saying. I love it. Let him in says, what if Bray comes back and can transport people to the Funhouse at any time or turns people into puppets?
I think he can kind of already do that. Not turning people into puppets, but as far as transporting people, I think that we've already seen that with those segments with Randy and Alexa, because the lights go out and they come back up and the ring is different, like it was in the Firefly Funhouse match. The Firefly Funhouse match was through the door of the Funhouse. And that's where the ring was, through the door of the Funhouse. So that's where that match took place. I think anytime you get those segments where everything else appears to disappear and then something happens and then it goes back to the way it was, I think they are being transported to this ring that's inside or through the door of the Funhouse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Butterspark saying did the transporting to John Cena. That is absolutely right. Yeah, my goodness. Thank you, Matt, for sending me something. I will take a look at it. Let's see here. Rusty says, can he transport Vince to the Funhouse and fire him? It would be funny though. I will say it would be funny if he did something with the Devil Vince puppet. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see something like that happen. That would be amazing. Jesse Callan Corner, thank you for joining us. Saw that you popped in. This is awesome because I honestly feel like Alexa has been killing it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like,
I'm not sure.
Okay, Alexa, I get it. I promise you, I get it. I know you want to talk. We can talk later. She's been killing it. And I feel like WWE, I have to give them credit here because I feel like they're hands off. Mm-hmm. Right. It's like, you know what? Do your thing. We trust your creative vision. do your thing. Is that the sense that you get with this storyline?
For the most part, I think that Bray is still very much in control of the story and how he wants it to be told. The only thing I don't really think he has control over is the match booking. I think for the most part, they've given him what he wanted, but sometimes he has to write his way out of things, like that situation with and I think that whole situation with Roman coming back and stuff too, he's kind of had to write himself out of that. I think for the most part, as long as he doesn't have the belt, they're letting him do what he wants, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing we have to give Bray credit on is he's so adaptable.
Mm-hmm.
And he in a less than this isn't a good way to put it, but he takes chicken crap and turns it into chicken salad. He takes whatever he's given and he makes
a rock and turns it into a diamond.
Exactly. Like the first when Seth Rollins showed up in the Funhouse, everybody was like, "What in the hell just happened? How did that happen?" And then he spun it because that's what great storytellers do. They find a way to just connect the dots, even when they don't make sense. Like even when we're going in a straight line and then they deviate from that path, he still finds a way to
bring it back.
And that's just how great he is. Boy Dally, what did you say, Big Boy Dally? I did not see a comment that you sent. Sorry about that. Let's see here. Eli saying Bray needs to be the writer for WWE for Raw with Triple H. Listen, I think when it's all said and done for Bray in the ring, and my goodness, I hope that's many, many years from now. But let's be honest, things happen. He's got to be a part of someone's creative staff. Like Bray, he's one of the most brilliant minds when it comes to wrestling that I think I've ever seen. Jodie, I know you will probably agree with that. He's just tremendous, tremendously talented. Let's see here. Apparently, there's a story.
I did see that. There is a rumor floating around that for some reason Bray replaces Randy in the Elimination Chamber.
Wait, what?
That was a rumor that I saw on the internet, which means don't take it with a huge grain of salt, but that's the rumor that's floating around, is that somehow, for some reason, I don't really know how or why, but there's a rumor floating around that Bray is going to replace Randy in the Elimination Chamber.
And you didn't tell me this before now?
I didn't really put much credit into it because of where it came from. So,
a man can dream.
But I have when I was looking for this video of Alexa saying he's back, I came across a couple of things that were saying that.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Like my head is about to explode right now.
It was on Fansided.
Okay. Fansided.
What did he say? It just says for some, Bray Wyatt will magically replace Randy Orton. Doesn't really go into why or how. It just, I've seen that flying around a little bit.
Okay. Well, Matt sent me a DM, and it's basically saying that there are going to be changes to a top storyline, to the top storyline.
Mhm.
And that, I mean, I don't know what else is top on Raw right now other than
I mean, honestly, that wouldn't surprise me because Vince is known for ripping up the script 10 minutes before airtime. So, you know,
yeah, yeah. Even
special
though
go home angle.
even though we're going on TV in less than 2 hours, let's rewrite the script real quick. Let's rewrite the entire opening.
Yeah. So this is what they say. Special go home angle, will Bray Wyatt magically replace Randy Orton? If the baby faces do win their match on the go home show, typical 50-50 booking logic would suggest that a heel could win WWE Championship this Sunday. This means that Drew McIntyre's second WWE Championship reign could be in jeopardy, especially since Sheamus would very likely have his mindset on eliminating him inside the Elimination Chamber. Out of the three heels, AJ Styles is the most likely to walk away with the gold and battle Edge at Mania. However, there is a twist to keep in mind. Another heel could join the fray, and his name is Bray Wyatt, another former WWE champion who should have been added to this match. I agree. At some point, Wyatt has to return with a new character and handle business with Orton, replacing him in the Elimination Chamber match and winning the WWE Championship as he did 4 years ago at the WWE Elimination Chamber 2017 could be a huge historically relevant swerve.
Dum dum dum.
He did say life is a circle. But I can actually see it going the other way. I could actually see Randy winning and then Bray taking it from him at Mania. I kind of see it going the opposite way. But I'd be okay with that. I don't really enjoy putting the belt back on him because I know they're going to take it away from him in a really crappy way, like they have the past 2 times. So, yeah. Honestly, I would be happy if he magically replaced Randy, but I don't see a feasible possibility of how that happens unless something happens to Randy tonight that takes him out of Elimination Chamber.
Could it be? Could
possibly do something to Randy that would take him out of Elimination Chamber?
Could it happen?
In order for him to replace him, that means that Randy has to go out tonight and get injured.
That's true. That's very true. Magic Banana 409 says, "To me, life is an octagon. Are we getting UFC Bray?"
You know what? I'd actually really like to see him fight a UFC fight. I think that would be I think he'd be good at it.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I'd love to see. I'd love to see that. Bertree says, "What if tonight Randy Orton is about to hit an RKO, then the lights go off? Alexa gives Randy a gift, and it's a burnt Fiend mask, and Alexa takes him out. Then there's a quick glimpse of the Fiend."
I think if anything, we're going to get something like that. It'll be some kind of tease at this new character. Maybe we see a quick flash like he did when the Fiend first came out. You know, he had quick flashes of his face in that vignette. So if we get anything tonight, I think that's what's going to be. It's going to be something similar to that. But we will have to wait and see. I'm hoping that he doesn't come back tonight, get like a little teaser, and then he actually comes back in Elimination Chamber, because I know everybody wants to see my live reaction when he does come back.
Yes.
If he comes back tonight, you won't see it.
You won't see it. Sorry. Unless, you're watching and you just take out the phone real quick and
No.
Oh my God. And
To be able to share that moment with all of you guys.
that's right. I mean,
Let's just have him come back at Elimination Chamber.
yeah, let's just WWE if you're listening.
Oh, Big Dan, I would love that.
The Druid. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Especially if he's going to come back as some other kind of demon. The Druids would fit into that very, very well.
Yes.
Ooh, I like that.
Who?
By just showing us a silhouette. I dig that a lot.
Oh, yeah. That would be
Just
amazing.
show us a silhouette of this new character.
Big Boy Dally saying, I don't think I can wait as long as Mania to see the I think
Me
that's a
too.
lot of us. I think that's a lot of us. Shout out to Sapphire. Joey's Adventure says, I think WWE just put Randy in the chamber because there was no one else. Fiend is off TV. Jinder is MIA. And they don't want Kofi in the chamber in fear of a Kofi Mania 2 forcing plans to change.
No, I think Randy deserves to be in the chamber for sure. I
Yeah.
think he really earned that spot.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a decent collection of guys and girls for the chamber so far this year. I think so.
Yeah. Bertree saying one thing's for sure, it's going to be worth the wait. Bray wants us to be shocked, and when he comes back, he's a creative genius. So yes, I agree.
Definitely worth the wait, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
No
Jody, as we wrap up here, final thoughts on if we get a sighting of Alexa.
Just call her Miss Bliss.
Or Bray this evening. Do you think we get a sighting of either?
She's in Orlando. I think we get Alexa with a tease of the Fiend. I'm not sure though, because if Alexa's in Orlando, then we might not see her either.
It's true.
We may just get a tease of the Fiend, unless they pre-recorded something, which is highly possible.
That's
I think we get some kind of tease.
tease.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like that. Sapphire says, my theory is that Bray is the Freddy face bear from Five Nights at Freddy's.
I've never seen that.
What I know of it because I have, well, I mean, you're 11 and I have an 11-year-old. So I've heard of it because of that, but I don't know much about Five Nights at Freddy's. So you have to school me on that.
Yes, I want Postman Pierce back too.
Postman Pierce. Yes.
Postman Pierce was great.
He needs to be a permanent fixture.
We need a Postman Pierce puppet.
Look, if it's going to be like I know we equate the Funhouse to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood a lot. They had a postman. Every episode. Why not?
Well, in England growing up, I used to watch a show called Postman Pat, which is why it always makes me laugh when they say Postman Pierce, because it just reminds me of Postman Pat from when I grew up. So I would like to see a Postman Pat puppet. Make it happen.
Make it happen, WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Please. And if you're listening, for the purposes of Jody being able to react live, please hold off on any reveals until Sunday. Please. Because we need to see that. We need to see that live.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be able to share that with
I don't know, Jeff. if he comes back tonight, we might just have to hop back on here afterwards. Talk about it.
We could probably do a quick little reaction if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I could possibly throw something together real quick. Be impromptu.
Yeah, an impromptu live.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Rusty.
It might just be too exciting to not talk about. We have to talk about it.
That's true. Rusty wants Eugene in a new family. Because, of course, Rusty wants Eugene in a new Wyatt family. Why wouldn't he want Eugene around? I wouldn't mind having Eugene around. I don't think that gimmick would, with how some people are in our society these days, I don't think people would take too well to Eugene's gimmick. I think we'd get the Twitter police on that one.
Yeah.
But that's another conversation for a different day.
Sonny just brought up a good point. It could be a cliffhanger tonight.
We have had that with Raw, so
especially being the go home show right before a pay-per-view.
Just saying.
And then we'd all be sitting there going, "Oh, I hate you."
Like, oh my God.
I love you all at the same time.
Yeah, Matt quoting Joker, we live in a society. Yes. Listen, that's for my other podcast. That's for a different day. Cause that's a different day. We'll talk about that later. But folks, thank you guys for joining us. And Chris apparently is sharing photos of his delicious cake, which I'm so pissed off right now. Like, that's the cake.
Oh, I hate you.
Chris, you know what, man?
That's just mean.
That's cruel and unusual punishment. That's what that is. Like, that's just cruel and unusual punishment. I still love you. You're still my guy. But, like,
that's just mean.
Oh, goodness. I was in the middle of thanking everyone, and now I don't. Thank you all for joining us tonight. If you have not done so, please like and subscribe to our channel. We would greatly appreciate it. Please drop a like on this video. Man, I'm so distracted right now by that cake. Like, now I want cake. Now I want cake. Jodie, do you have anything to say? Because I'm discombobulated right now.
Enjoy Raw tonight. If we get something, be super excited. If we don't be disheartened, because he will come back soon.
That's right. That's right. Guys,
have patience. Patience, young grasshoppers.
Yes. Patience is a virtue, even though a lot of us
have
don't like patience. Yeah. That's true. Thank you guys for joining us. Stay safe out there. Be kind to one another, please. And we will see you again next week. And you know what? If we get something tonight, we're going to see you again tonight. How's that sound, Jodie?
Yes.
All right, folks. Take care. We'll see you next time.